Yes,
We are
y'all.
in the building. Dayton University is here. My good God, we are live. It's been
And
a
then,
week, y'all. What's going on? How the hell
yeah.
are you?
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy
Friday Eve.
Thursday, or whatever day that you are catching us, whatever time of day you are catching us. Shout out to all of our
Right.
podcast listeners. We love
Yeah.
you. We appreciate you keeping on liking, commenting, sharing, listening, and all that other good jazz. Listen, we're going to get right into it tonight, man. So, everybody in God's green earth has talked about it, seen it, had an
Charles,
opinion about it.
you just skipped over the intro.
I sure did. I'm gonna do it. I promise you. I'm just
Okay.
giving you.
Okay.
I got this. I
You
got
do.
this.
You do. Okay. We good. We
I
good.
got it. I
We
promise
good.
you. I got you. I got
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Man, listen. We are again. We are dating university. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my lovely co-host
Professor Brittany.
and our special guest for the evening, the host of In the Basement would be my brother from another mother, Mr. Brian J. What is good? What is good? What is good?
What's going on, professors? How are y'all today? This
And
evening.
we are cooling. We are tired out. We got time. Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Man, let me get my bourbon in me. Let me.
I'm Gatorading it tonight.
Oh yeah, it's the good stuff.
Am I the only one that's not drinking anything?
I mean, Brian is only doing Gatorade, but
Yeah.
I have
I'll
an
tell
adult
you
beverage.
a quick secret. A quick secret. I usually drink either cranberry juice or water when I do the shows. Either water
What
or cranberry.
you
Yes.
like the regular TV people? They don't even have coffee in their mugs. They just be having like
No,
water.
I put cranberry juice or water. Either
Ain't
or.
that something? I feel like a lush. I feel like a lush.
Well, you know what happens when we have a little too much to drink on our shows.
Yeah, we
The
go a little
content
artsy.
gets a little spotty. Our
Yeah,
interaction gets a little icky. So I said, you know what? Let
we get a
me
little
just stick to
spicy.
yeah,
We
let
get a
me
little.
stick to what I know. And then my mom listens to it, so I
So you
really gotta make
did.
sure I'm on my
I
P's and
mean,
Q's.
I mean, last week you was on. You was on bend the knee like boys the men in them, but
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I still have a mom that still loves me and cares for me after
Oh,
that.
and
So.
while we at it, guys, I just want to congratulate y'all on your nomination for podcast. Like, it's awesome, awesome,
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
much
Congratulations on that.
appreciated.
Oh,
Much,
thank you.
much
Sweet.
appreciated.
Hey, real
Thank
All right.
recognize real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You up next, baby. Let's go.
Hey, try and get there.
All right. So we talking about it tonight, man. Everybody and their mama has seen it. They got an opinion on it. They done ran it in the whole conspiracy theories and photoshops and everything in the world. We are talking about the slap heard around the world from last week's Oscars. Will Smith uh, smacked a presenter, Mr. Chris Rock, in the face on live television for a off-color joke at Jada Pinkett Smith's expense. Chris Rock made the joke because Jada Pinkett Smith right now she has a bald head by choice. She has been diagnosed with alopecia, and it is unknown if Chris Rock knew that diagnosis, but he made the joke of Jada Pinkett Smith, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Will kind of laughed at a little bit, but Jada was visibly uncomfortable with the comment. And without any other provocation, Will Smith got up from his seat, walked onto stage, and smacked Chris Rock in the face. Went back to his seat like nothing happened and proceeded to cuss him out. So we talking about it, man. That led to a whole divisive thing amongst everybody. Everybody had an opinion on this. Some people were for the slap. Some people were against the slap. Some people
Mhm.
were on the fence about the slap. I, for one, am definitely on the fence of the slap. Like
Same here.
I'm
So,
all for it, but I'm also all against it.
so can I start with a question
Talk to me.
that can lead into discussion about the infamous slap? Can
Mm,
can either of you two or any of our students out there speak to a time when you were out in public and a situation happened and you came out of character, and after you came out of character you had this moment of regret after the fact, but in the moment you did what happened, you did what you had to do, and you did what you saw was right in the heat of the moment? Can you speak to a time where that happened to you? Because I have a few times, and I think the most embarrassing time for me was in church. Church to me is a
oh.
very sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
It's a space where you assume that you have peace, tranquility,
Mm-hmm.
um, this sacred moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was leading the children's choir. It was during rehearsal, and a parent was instructing the children, as was I. So you have a
Mm,
parent off to the side trying to instruct the children, and then you have me trying to
mm,
instruct the children. Now, mind you, I'm instructing them because nobody else in the church wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I volunteered. So if I'm going to volunteer to instruct your children when you did not offer to instruct these children, then
Let
I
me
need for
be.
you to sit on the side and be quiet. And so she's telling them to sway right. I'm telling them to sway left. She's telling
mm,
them to clap. I'm telling them not to.
mm.
And
Too many
so
steps in the pot.
too many. So it got to a point, and this was a minute ago. So I was in my mid 20s. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I'm usually a very patient person in church. My grandparents always told me respect your elders. My
Mm-hmm.
mother, respect your elders. My aunt, my family, respect. But this
Mm-hmm.
person kept coming in my ear, kept coming in their ear, and it was throwing me off. And so in that moment, I said, "Hey, excuse me, are you the instructor or am I? Because last time I checked, you didn't volunteer to do this, I did." And she made a comment, getting up, positioning her earring, saying, "Oh, we can go there if you want to go there." And me, I've never fought a day in my life,
Mm,
but she took me there, and I said,
mm,
"What's up? What's up? We
mm.
got it here and right there." Mind you, these kids are I mean, they're no older than 10.
Wow.
They're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're in that
Wow.
age range. And so you have
Mm,
these kids that have never seen me upset. They
mm,
see me as Miss Brittany, the happy, jovial, happy-go-lucky, mother mentor figure that always has it together. And here I am about to go fight this person's mom because in my eyes she overstepped her boundary. And so
mm,
people had to escort her outside. People had to escort me to the side. And it wasn't until I saw those children's faces that I
mm,
said, "Oh my gosh, Britt." Like I felt so dirty. I felt
Mm-hmm.
so embarrassed. I felt so defeated because I let somebody's comment take me out of character. And although it wasn't the time or the place, I'm human. I'm entitled to my
mm,
feelings. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt how I felt.
mm.
Did I apologize? No, I didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, shoot. Man, listen, I've had several, several, several times where I've gotten out of pocket, way out of my character. You know what I'm saying? Like I pride myself on kind of being a even kill kind of guy, but there was a time where the slightest thing would set me off. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Late, but still great. The returning professor you gonna have to unmute yourself. Okay, he can't mute. All right, he can't hear. Anyway, he'll come back when he comes back. Yeah, it was several times where I've gotten out of pocket. It can be like a slight disrespect from somebody. I'm really trying to think of something where I've really just really popped off, and I want to say it was one time at work. You know what? I have the perfect one. I was at work. I was at work. One of the managers, who wasn't my direct manager, was trying to drop something off, but in her haste and not waiting for me to get to this place to receive the items, she dropped the box off in front of the door and then left. Now at this time, I'm working at a hospital, okay, a pretty well-known hospital here. Mm-hmm. And you just have a random brown box sitting outside of a door.
Right. Scary much.
Very goddamn scary. So, I went and I retrieved the package and everything. And then later on in the day, she came over, again, and was like, well, why didn't you meet me? Like exactly when I said I needed you to meet me. Who the fuck you talking to? I mean, it came out so fast, so smooth, that? In front of everybody. I mean, in front of everybody. It came out so.
You said those exact words, Charles, at work?
I said those exact words at work. I was just like, and I proceeded to lay her little tail out. Like, it was just, whoo. And everybody looked at me, was just like,
right? Because I've never seen you pop off like that, Charles.
Yeah, I've known you almost 30 years, and I've never seen you pop off like that.
Was it her tone? Was it the way she approached you that made you?
It was the tone. It was how she approached. It was her accusatory in front of everybody, like all of our older co-workers. Yeah, I was like, what you not gonna do? What you not gonna do is disrespect me, and of course, no offense to all of my Caucasian brothers and sisters, but it's a different vibe when someone of the unmelanated culture comes at you sideways as a black person.
Okay.
It reaches deep down into your Kuta Kinte. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get cotton mouth or something? Like, were you seeing cotton fields around you?
Man, listen, I was just like, this ain't 18 and nothing.
We shall overcome replaying in your head.
But needless to say, everything went smooth. You know what I'm saying? My supervisor was like, you did right. I got your back. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, so you were justified. Okay.
I was justified in it. Amen.
But did you apologize for it? Brian, do you have a story?
I have a couple, but
come on, give us your best one.
I think the one that sticks out the most, leading up to our wedding, me and the wife had clothes on their way for the boys. I'm talking about my daughter and mom.
I'm getting some feedback from you.
You want me to take the earphone out?
Things on.
No. How about now?
Getting better. Oh, here we go.
Are you in the studio, Brian? Because this looking real studio-ass. Like you.
No, I'm in my basement. In the basement with me.
It's a cool vibe. For those watching, Brian has this cool vibe. This setup that has me really feeling like he's a podcaster, like for real.
I mean, he got a real vibe going on.
I love it.
I hear the feedback. I'm not understanding what's going on.
Oh, okay. It's not you. It's George. I got you. I just muted him for the moment. Continue with your story, Brian.
All right. So we had still closed on layaway out security, and I forgot the name of the store, like one of those merry-go-rounds where they sell the uniform clothes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Anyway, we put clothes on layaway leading up to the wedding. The lady gave us a printout, and on the printout it tells you how much you owe, how much is left. So we went back the day before the wedding with the amount that was actual. Give her the ticket and everything. And she's like, no, you owe us $40 more. Nah, this ticket says this is how much we owe. This is how much is supposed to be paid. Mm-hmm. So after going back and forth, she said, well, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't have. I was like, I looked at my wife. The words that came out of my mouth, I dare not repeat now. I cussed this little Asian out so bad that yeah, she was Asian. That
was my next question. Okay.
Yeah, she was Asian. That my son, Austin, was probably 2. Maya was probably, I know it's probably 7 or 8. They was in tears because they never seen me like that. They never seen Dad. Mm-hmm. I was like, you wouldn't think I went to anybody's church, served on anybody's deacon, sung in anybody's choir, the way I talked to this lady. I mean, I'm slamming on the counter. I'm 10 minutes from flipping stuff over. Because not only did you insult me, you insulted my ability to take care of my family. Mm-hmm. Sean's like, calm down. And she's like, I'm going to call the security. Call them. I will call them. You could call Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. You could call Morgan State Police. I don't care who you call.
Barney Miller, Kojak, call them all. Right. Hawaii, call them Chips.
Why? Call them.
Miami Vice, call them.
Call them. Chips, I don't care who you call. Call them. So, again, that's why I say my wife is my yin into my yang. Because she pulled me back. She's like, it's not worth it. $40. I'm like, at that point, it wasn't even.
It was $40?
That's how much more I needed to pay. And it wasn't even about the $40.
She said you couldn't afford the $40.
That's what pissed me. Okay, that's what ticked me off.
Okay.
That's what ticked me like. Yeah, but did I apologize to her? Absolutely not. You know who I apologize to?
I'm noticing a pattern here.
You know who I apologize to?
Who?
I apologize to my children.
Exactly.
Because I told them, like, Dad, that's not Dad. That's not who I am.
Noticing a pattern.
She took me so far out of character. Like, on the ride, even on the ride home, I was still like fuming. Like, I was fuming. And to this point, I don't get on merry-go-rounds. I don't walk past merry-go-rounds. I don't
want nothing to do with no merry-go-round. Nothing. I want nothing that spins. I ain't on it. Like, I ain't getting it. Like, nah.
But yeah, it took me, like, even thinking about it now, it was like, wow, like, yeah, people who would have saw me would have like, that's not Brian that goes the Bible way, is it?
Yeah.
But she took me there. You're not going to insult me in front of my children. Why?
I got it. Yeah.
You're not going to insult me in front of my children.
Welcome, Professor George, to the show. The spotlight is on you. Can you speak to a moment in which you were in public and an altercation took you out of character to the point that people would not recognize you for being that way? And did you feel remorseful after?
That's a good question. First of all, good evening, everybody. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late. I was feeding the natives. The last time... Dang, it must have been a while. I honestly... y'all gonna have to come back to me. I can't think of a time since I've matured that has happened. I could give you a ton of examples back in my, for lack of a better term, in this conversation, youth. I don't know if I've graduated to like saying that type of stuff yet. But
I get that.
I feel like there was one or two instances beyond that, like that maturity threshold, where they may have had. I can't think of one right off the top of my head, which means it's been a while, so that's a good thing. But give me a minute. Somewhere in the conversation, I'll be like, "Ooh, I got it. Let me tell y'all about this," and I'm gonna let y'all know.
So, Professor Charles, you gave a great synopsis of what happened at the Oscars. That was actually a excellent synopsis.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the video and do the whole share thing, the share screen thing that StreamYard has, but it's I'm still learning that part. And I didn't want to be like looking all kind of crazy, so I was just like, let me go ahead, orate this and get it up there. There's been a lot of division like about this topic. A lot of people are for it. A lot of people, are like, yo, he did the right thing. Like, I did the same thing. Like, I don't care where we are, who we are. This is what we gonna do. I'm smacking whoever gonna disrespect my wife and or my spouse or whatever. And it really got me like, I was so torn, and I'm still torn. I am still torn about this subject, because I get the whole idea of hold on one second. Get my nephew, please. Hey, can y'all get my nephew, please? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Data University.
Data University, and we're live. This is what it is.
Hey, are y'all still getting feedback from me?
I don't hear it as much.
Okay, I think it was because I was initially I was trying to use my microphone. Okay, you are. Okay.
There is a little bit of feedback.
I mean, before we even get into the divisiveness of the comments online, can we first speak about your initial reactions? I think before I started reading reactions to what actually happened, I was reading just overall reactions to the moment.
Yeah.
For one, I thought it was fake. I was shocked. I said, I know.
We all did.
I know Will Smith did not walk on stage on live. Chris Rock. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked as hell. And I was in such disbelief. I watched the video at least 4 or 5 times, thinking that, when you watch something more than once, you become accustomed to it. Like, it doesn't faze you. No, I still felt that feeling of like uneasiness and awkwardness.
It was to me, like, I saw it on my feed because I was just about to go to bed because it was Sunday night. It was like, look, I got to get up in the morning, whatever. Let me go check the feed real quick to see what's popping. And all I see was just like Will Smith. And I was just like, wait, what happened? I ran across a video. I was like,
yeah,
this planned? Like, what is happening? Like, and then I had to watch it a few more times, and then I saw like because it was like the ones I was seeing, it was like the muted version. And I was just like, no, like what? I gotta find the real one. Like, I need all of the context. I need to see what the hell happened, like what led up to it, what happened, and what happened after. Like, that's what I had to do. So I'm looking and I'm like, nah, yo, like this is fake. But then I'm looking at Will's face as he sat down, and I'm listening to this man's tone, and I was like, this dude's for real.
And he was cursing. Big Willie don't curse.
A lot of West Philly.
Willie Mr. Junior don't curse.
You all really had like y'all first impression of that was. Let me ask you this: who was watching live? Were you all okay? So maybe that's the difference, because not once until people started making the comment about it did it even cross my mind that it was fake. Not once until I saw other people commenting about it. So I stopped watching the Oscars a few years ago. Don't like the way we've been treated. That's a conversation for another day. So I'm on the couch.
But it's still a part of it.
It is a part of it. But I'm on the couch with my lady, and I'm an avid Twitter user. So all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up a little bit, and so the first thing I saw, and it was in the caption, it was like the unedited version from like the Australia or Japan or it was Asian. It was like Japan. It was the unedited version from, so that was the title. And I watched the video and I was like, I was rude at the play at the end of the Euphoria season, and I actually posted a picture of her where she's like, I didn't know whether to clap. I was halfway like part of me was like, yeah, Big Willie, and then another part of me was like, that was really bad. And I was just like caught in the middle. Like I didn't know how. I'm like, baby, the Fresh Prince just smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars. She's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, look at this video. And then to watch her expression, her mouth drop, it was this surreal moment that just, I didn't know how to feel initially. I was like, on the one hand, you know, I think in the back of my mind, I'm taking into account all of the stuff that they've been going through in the public eye. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But then I'm like, damn, this is the Oscars, bro. It's like, ain't you nominated? Like,
look.
So yeah, I was like, it was a surreal moment to watch that. Like, very, very rarely nowadays, stuff like this, I feel like happens so often that you don't really get fazed by it. But to see those two particular black men have that exchange, that really was something. It kind of pulled me out of myself for a second. I was just like, whoa.
I was so stuck on. I was like, wait a minute. These are two black men at the Oscars, and you went up there and you committed a crime in front of the world. And arguably, which is the second biggest TV event in the world. The first probably being the Super Bowl.
These are two of the most prolific African American men in entertainment.
So, I mean, I guess my question is it an issue because it was Will Smith and Chris Rock? Is it because they were two black men? Is it because it was on national television? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
It was the whole thing. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay, two black men at the top of their game on worldwide television, one hitting another, cussing and fussing, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing? But then, like Professor George was saying, like, yo, like, I get it, like the frustration, like of having to sit there and watch your wife's face break down in like such a way. It was.
But did you see? There's a video from DJ Academics where it shows him, he was sitting behind Will Jada, and it's like she continued laughing even after the situation went down. Like when
I gotta interject here because a lot of that is going around the internet that she laughed when he smacked him, and that's absolutely false. It's not true. Will smacked him, and on the walk back to his seat, she was absolutely not laughing. Chris Rock made a joke because in show business, the mantra "keep the show must go on." It means a little bit more to the people who are in that situation. Exactly. Like as a performer, you know that any myriad of things can happen. Exactly. The show must go on, and Chris Rock, to his credit, like the ultimate professional in that situation. Because what he did was he immediately diffused the situation. And like, it's hard enough when you're a bystander or somebody who witnessed something to diffuse a tense situation. To be, for I hate to use the term victim, but to be directly in that altercation and then diffuse it for everybody else. The fact that Jada laughed, in my opinion, is more of a testament to his professionalism and his excellence at his craft than it is to her character. Like, even she couldn't deny that joke. Because his joke was like, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me on national TV, and everybody laughed, including her. But this narrative that's going around that she was kind of like encouraging behavior and like laughing while he was on his way is just not true. Right. And we should stop anybody who's spreading that because that's not what happened. And if you watch the video from Academics, it's very clear that she laughs along with the crowd as Chris Rock continues the show, despite what just happened. So I think we got to be fair on both sides. Like, could she have done more? Maybe. For what I saw, even him getting out of his seat, I don't think Jada was in a spot like, oh, she about to slap him. I just don't see that being, because like even when he was walking up to the stage, like we've seen people walk. We've seen Kanye went up on somebody's stage before, right? No, nobody panicked though. Everybody was like, oh shit, what he about to do? But nobody was like, oh, go stop him. Like. Until the slap happened, nobody saw the slap coming.
And you want to know why? Because
except Chris Rock. Chris Rock might have seen that coming because he was looking. He had eye contact the whole time. He might have known that was coming. But other than that, I don't think anybody else would have foresaw that. And that's why.
You're like, who honestly in their right mind thought, oh, Will's walking on stage to slap Chris Rock? Absolutely no.
Right.
Not a soul.
I'm like, oh, he's probably going to say a joke alongside Chris. Oh, exactly. He did not do that.
I thought it was going to give him one of those.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like, that was unexpected.
And then laugh it off and then go on back to his seat. And then for me, it was, I felt like he did things out of order. Like, and not like it was out of order because, well, it was out of order, but I'm talking about in like, steps in escalation. I think he went too high and then came back down. You know what I'm saying? Where it was just like, it just felt weird. Like for me, when I was telling my fellas about this earlier today, I was like, I think it would have made much more of an pardon the pun. It would have made much more of an impact if he would have said what he said while he was sitting down with that same energy and the same words, because when a man barks on another man in that kind of way, another man is going to hear. Most men is going to hear it. Most men will hear it. And if they don't, then you can start to escalate it because, like, okay, now you ain't hear me. Now you really being disrespectful. Now I got to step to you. But I think he just did things out of chronological order. But a lot of people are giving him the grace and the leeway of him doing what he did because he's been the butt of the joke for the last 2+ years, based on everything that was coming out that was voluntarily given by his wife,
right? Like
those situations. And there's gonna be people who will argue, oh, well, she said it in hopes that she can empower somebody else who's going through the same thing and blah 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 blah. Nah, I was always taught what happens between a man and a wife stays between a man and a wife. You don't know what goes on. We don't need to know what goes on in the situation. So while we sit up here, we psychoanalyze, we become forensic scientists on it. We're dissecting everything to its lowest, denominator. What happened between them is between them. But unfortunately, because they made their stuff public, we are here for it. We are consuming it. We are grasping for it because that's the whole thing. That's the whole basis of like reality TV. Like we look at other people's lives and we see their dysfunction in hopes to see like, well, their life is just a little bit more fucked up than mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep watching this because we want to feel like we're a little bit above where we are. But if we see people going through the same kind of stuff, especially those who are rich, famous, or whatever, it's like, oh, they're just like us.
Do you think that it's just the shock of like who it was and the stage that it happened on is really the issue is that it just gives us something else to really talk about?
I think it just gives us something else.
Sometimes I think that the issue really is that it's something else for us to fuss about. In most, not in all, because we're not fussing, but a lot of people are really going back and forth about this. It's taking up a lot of people's attention and energy, and just living in their mind around the whole thing. Honestly, I feel like stuff like this happens every day.
Right.
And honestly, I feel like when it happens, it's unfortunate. But I mean, like it happens. Like it's not outside of the realm of impossibility.
It's not.
Like, we gotta hold. I understand the idea of holding people accountable, but we also gotta be we gotta be honest, and we gotta be real about it at the same time. We can't go throwing somebody under the bus extra, like just because they happen to be successful or they live their lives in the spotlight. If anything, I believe we should have a little bit of leniency with them, to be honest, because I can't imagine what that's like. And I got friends and people that I know who won't even go public with their relationships on Facebook and other social media because they understand how, amongst their little 2,000-3,000 friends, how like, having certain people knowing certain things and feeling like they got insight on what's going on in your relationship is just too heavy on the relationship. So what does that feel like when you a $20 million per movie star? You know what I'm saying? And like, or like somebody who has had to live their life in the public eye for 30 plus years. Like, he's got a career that spans almost 4 decades now.
And I love Lita's, George, you're preaching right now. I love Lita's comment. We like to hold celebrities to a higher standard, and I think that's what we're doing here. That's why I asked the question, have you ever experienced a time in your life where you were out in public and something triggered you to come outside of your character? We're human, and when you see somebody attacking somebody that you love, you go into fight or flight mode. So you don't happen to be on the stage at the Oscars, okay, but it happened. It happened. We say protect Black women. That's what he's doing. So it is alarming when I see people online like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have done that. Really? So you just allow people to disrespect your spouse like that?
Absolutely.
Yikes.
There is no.
Let me talk to your spouse real quick. Is she okay?
I mean, that's a conversation. That's a real conversation that needs to be had.
Blink twice if you need me to come get you.
I'll protect you, girl.
And I find it so interesting because everybody ran to what we perceive as marital problems in their relationship, because I don't even know if that's really what it is, other than, I mean, they got outed. And I think that's an issue in itself.
Exactly.
But this assumption that Will and Jada have been having issues in their relationship outside of what normal couples have is unfounded. But I wonder, like, I lost my train of thought a little bit, but what I was wondering was everybody ran to that in the August thing and everything.
Oh yeah,
the reason behind
that right there.
Will had this deep-seated unconscious thing going on because he's so unhappy with his wife and she's been putting him and making him look like a simp or a fool and all this. And I was like, wait, like, y'all do know that he made a equally not necessarily. I don't want to call his jokes.
It wasn't public, but I mean, the man had some indiscretions his own self.
I don't want to call, but that's not even what I'm going. That's not even what I'm getting. I don't want to call any of his jokes disrespectful, but I will say this: he targeted Jada Smith 4 years ago when they boycotted, and he had some choice words for her on that stage before. So everybody was thinking that it got something to do with Will and Jada's relationship, but Chris Rock got a history kind of going at Jada Pinkett whenever he can. And maybe this was just the time where Will was like, yo, I ain't having this. You know what I'm saying? It might not, like, we making it out like the public conversation is making it out this deep-seated, deep-rooted, this traumatic, trauma-filled thing. And it might be like, all right, that's about my wife last time we was all here together and I let it slide. That shit happen again.
All bets are off. All bets are off. Yeah, like I get it. Like it's and Drea brings up something that that's the one thing that's been keeping me on the side of like what Will did was a dangerous thing. Now, she says you can protect Black women without putting yourself at risk to be arrested and prosecuted. Yes, and I'm going to take it a step further because it's not 20 years ago. It's not 30 years ago where you can go pull a motherfucker up, check them, and that be the end of it.
Right.
People these days are just a little, they don't know how to fight. They are thin-skinned. They're ready to pop off and to kill just off the slightest. So as a man, yes, you want to protect your queen. You want to, right. But there are definitely many ways in order to do it. And like I said, that was one of the things that kind of like, I was just like, damn, he just set a whole dangerous precedent, because it's going to be a whole lot of people that's going to feel like they're real comfortable enough to go around smacking people. See, when Will Smith, when his smack to Chris Rock, he did that in the most safest of spaces. It was more controlled than it is out here in regular damn life.
Yeah,
nobody in the Oscars was in there carrying. You know what I'm saying? They rely on the security teams to be the eyes, the ears, the watchers of anything that could go possibly wrong and neutralize the situation. Now you take that same incident, you taking your chick out to Applebee's on happy hour, and some dude come and try to holler at your lady, and then like she give him the brush off. You in the bathroom, she give him the brush off, and you come back and he being disrespectful. What you gonna do? It's a situational awareness. Yes, your immediate thought is to smack this nigga, get away from my wife, get away from my girl. This is what it is. That's your immediate thought. But as I get older, and like we all talked about, a lot of our pop-off moments happened when we were way younger. We were in our 20s. We was in our 30s, early 30s or so. So my question is, how do people want others to respond to disrespect? Are we glorifying violence, or are we looking to, be a little bit more diplomatic? And how can you be diplomatic without looking soft? That's my question.
No, that's a good question.
No, if you out here protecting Black women, that in itself, like protecting Black skin is risky. And
it is.
You either go
that shit live as hell, boy.
I didn't even want to put the onus like it was just women. Like women put themselves out in front of us all the time.
All the time.
Like the funny thing about it is that you kind of have to read and you have to research a little deeper than like CNN and MSNBC. But there are plenty of women who would put themselves out there in the front line on behalf of Black men and have suffered consequences. So protecting Black, there's no way to get around protecting Black skin is risky. And it's either you're going to accept that risk or you're not. There's certain things in life we can't control. But that's just where your character comes into place. And it's like if you have made the decision that you are going to play that role of protector, well, you can't always guarantee that you're going to be able to control every aspect of the situation. So you got to move like that. And you have to understand that like sometimes the situation is like with wills. Sometimes the situation is absolutely going to allow you 1,000 different avenues to handle this. I definitely think that he was in an emotional moment when that happened, and that's why we saw what we saw. But this idea that like we can have a set standard of what I protect, like limit our standard before we even know that, like either you protecting Black skin or you're not. And if you're protecting Black skin, you got to understand that you're going to probably find yourself in risky situations.
True.
True. Hey, like for me personally, that just comes with the territory of being Black. Like I understand that I might use my life out here fighting for Black people. accepted that a long time ago, and I'm at peace with it. Truth be told, I don't even think I'd be mad if that's how I went out. But you know, after Will's situation, I mean, I think anybody who feels like he could have handled that differently has good points to make, like that in that particular situation. But also, yo, you know, you gotta pick your battles too. You know,
you gotta pick your battles.
Thankfully we have
the tax bracket is important.
Right.
We have the luxury of having three black men on the show. So shoulda, coulda, woulda. What would you three have done if that was your wife in the audience and somebody cracked Slick at the mouth with her? What would you have done?
I'd have slapped him.
Okay.
Again,
I'm with Charles. I'm on the fence with it. Like, granted, he reacted off of emotions. So emotions outweigh any rationale, any forward thinking. He didn't think of what happens after the slap. He wasn't thinking about the repercussions of what's going on. Where I have slapped,
I mean,
I have slapped him,
I'm just saying, he looked like he understood what he did, because he sat back down and he was like, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's simple as that.
I don't think I would have slapped him. I don't think I would have slapped him. And I'm just not a confrontational person. So I'm more diplomatic. I want to talk this out, see where the root of the issue is. I probably would have went up to the stage, and instead of slapping him, probably like you know, I probably would jokingly, like we said, with them, like, but then after the show was over with, took him backstage, like, yo, I felt disrespect about that. Yeah, I felt disrespect about what you said. All I want is an apology. Like, I mean, but that's just me.
For me, like I said,
now he touched
I'm so back and forth. I'm so back and forth with it. Because sometimes people only recognize violence. There are some people who only recognize violence. Some people who have gotten away with saying or doing things for X amount of years have this sense of entitlement. Well, I'm this person. I've been saying and doing this for years. No one's ever checked me before. So why would I feel like I need to be checked now? Being said,
Dre, it sounds good. That's all I got. Sounds good.
It's so real though. It's so real. Like, words are words. Like I said earlier, like, if Will would have had that same energy from his seat, that you keep my wife's name out your mouth, I think that, I'm telling you, if I was on stage and I heard the way he heard that, man, I don't know. I'd have been like, you know what? You right. My bad.
No.
Right, I just don't.
No. It don't even hit the same.
Again, hold on.
It don't hit the same. It wouldn't hit the same for me.
Let me finish. But like I said, maybe, and something boils up deep inside me. If I look over to my left and I see my girl is hurt.
That part.
By that situation.
That part.
I'll be damned if I ain't gonna smack this motherfucker. Like,
we gotta look at her pain. We gotta look at her pain. I think the reason why I err on the side of slapping, let me, as a black woman, hair is one of the most sacred things, and we're held to such a standard when it comes to said thing. I can speak to her pain because I went to a PWI, and I remember a situation in where I was ridiculed by black men about my hair, and I had nobody to come to my rescue. And that's probably to this day one of the most traumatic experiences that I've had in my entire life. And this was in the audience of white people that already don't know what it's like to have a complex about your hair. But this was said by black men that I thought would have my back if anybody else in that space. In that space with a bunch of white people, I assumed that certain things would be off limit, and that is degrading me in front of them. And for them, it was a joke. They were laughing, but I was suffering in silence by myself. And that's painful. So when I saw Jada's face, I said, sis, I feel your pain. And Will said, oh, hell no. What I won't operate in is this space of pain and my wife going through it. So we gonna feel pain together. Black.
I think what also trips me out is that with the joke coming from Chris Rock, like he understood black women's hair. He did a whole documentary on how women are about their hair. So whether it was one of his writers that came up with the joke or someone like that joke should have been.
I think he just riffed
it. Even still, like you know the importance of black women hair. You just did a whole documentary called Black Hair. You know the importance of this. To even attack Jada, like I mean, like I say, it's a two-way street. Like it goes both ways. Like and like some people may say Chris was wrong, some people say Will wrong, some people say they both was wrong. I'm one of the ones that say it could have been handled way differently than it was on both ends. I think, like you say, he ripped. He probably looked out on the audience, saw that Jada was there. First thing coming to his mind was G.I. Jane. Like I say, you know, she felt disrespect. One, because she's suffering with alopecia. Two, it almost categorized her because Demi Moore, a white woman, played G.I. Jane and was bald. So like it almost like so. I get where her hurt is coming from. I get where it's coming from.
1,000%. Like again, like I will never discount like her issues and her pain, you know. Like I was talking to my girl about it, and you know, she opened my eyes. It was like she could have been like really going through it like hours before, getting ready. She probably could have been not feeling like the best, but you know, she knew that her husband was up for a major award, so she put on a brave face, you know, to go out and in public with her shaved head. And you know, and I absolutely get that part. So him popping off and smacking Chris in the face again, like I said, I've never been such on both sides of a fence in my life.
Right.
So
like
what
if we were at a cookout, smack the nigga. We're at the Oscars, I'm yelling at you, or I'm pulling you to the side during a commercial break, or after the show, or some kind of wardrobe change or something. Like I'm going to the back, like, yo, we gonna have some more words, but you know what I'm saying. And it's like George was saying, everything is situational, and you have to smack in your tax bracket.
I just think the narrative would have been different if Will Smith didn't do anything. If he just sat there and laughed or just said something, then the next day he would be like, "Oh, y'all already thought Will was soft. Oh, he's even softer. Didn't even stand up for his wife." So it's like damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
Damned if you Chris Rock.
Actually, I don't know, Britt, because honestly, I don't. If that hadn't happened, I don't even think it would be a thing. I don't even think anybody would have. I don't think anybody would have been like, "Oh, he made that joke about Jada." Like this happens at the Academy Award on a regular basis. Like the comedic relief is there.
And I would understand that, sure, if we didn't see a glimpse of Jada's face, because usually when somebody cracks a joke on said recipient of that joke, it pans to them and it's like,
it is tight. Right, it's tight on that. Right,
he wasn't doing that.
So
there was no smile.
You are right, because we would have had that footage.
Right.
So to that point, and early in the show, Regina Hall had made a joke about Will and Jada's open marriage. And like I said, I just been going through this in my head like all week.
What was the joke? Do you remember the joke?
It was more like they were bringing up I think they were bringing up like married couples or something like that, or married people. No, single people. And, she said something to the effect of, she was getting ready to bring her or him or bring Will up. And it was more like, oh, no. Y'all got an open relationship. You can come on up. It's all good. And then Will was like, ha, ha, ha. No, not me. Ha, ha, ha. And Jada was on the side just laughing it up, chuckling it up. I'm like,
So then maybe that's evidence to the fact that it didn't have nothing to do with this whole debacle with whatever's going on in their relationship that caused him to go up and have that reaction to Chris Rock. Maybe it really was. Like,
it's leaning more to making it like it's leaning more towards like it's against Chris Rock himself, and here we are making a mountain out of a molehill. But it could just be over the fact of like, yeah, that's my friend of the last 30 some odd years, but he said one too many things too much. Now I gotta check this.
And I think your lady hit it on the head. Like, what does that feel like when you have to go out on one of the world's biggest stages, and you're dealing with that, right? And somebody made a comment like, yeah, Jada has had short hair in her throughout her career, right? Like, that's not new, but this condition that has, forces you to make the decision to make some drastic that were not your choice, right? Like when she was short with when she had the finger waves back in the early late. When she had her short hairstyles, those were choices that she made.
Exactly.
When you're dealing with something like alopecia and it's more advanced stages, like it's like either I'm going out looking like this, I'm wearing a wig. Like, you don't have the same choice. And you gotta get dressed up. Got all dolled up, and maybe I don't know how long she's been dealing with this. I didn't know she had a head condition on it. I was one of the people who had not seen that episode of Red Table Talk, but
me either.
Say all that to say that's got to be tough to have to go out on that type of stage. It's the red carpet. It's the one place where everybody is focused on how you look. And you got to go out here with this bald head that may not have been your first choice, may not have been something that you were feeling at that moment, but you got to show up because your husband is nominated for the top. You got to be there. And who knows what that was like?
It had to been some.
I think we put so much pride into our hair. Like, sisters, if you watching this show and you get what I'm saying, drop an emoji. I don't know which one. Do the one with the lady with the hand to the side of her hair. Put that in the comments. Like, hair is a lot. It's a big deal, y'all. It's a big deal.
And again, Chris Rock did a whole documentary.
I forgot he did.
He did a whole documentary.
They gonna take his Oscar?
No.
Hell no, they ain't.
Okay.
Well, I was watching The View, and Whoopi Goldberg is on the board. And she said taking his Oscar would be a moot point. If that's the case, he would have to take Weinstein's Oscar.
Exactly.
And
Roman Polanski.
How many Oscars have they given Roman Polanski since he fled the country?
Yeah. Man's on the loose.
Did you see that the Oscars, that there's an insider, a supposed insider who's saying that the Oscars lied, that they never asked Will?
Right. I read the same thing.
Trying to save face because, they allowed that situation. The public is making this thing where it's like y'all allowed that to happen. But that's where I go. That's where I'm like, if you go slap, you gotta slap in your station and your tax bracket. It's not the same. And I think we need to come to terms with that. Like, if I walk up to somebody and slap the hell out of them because they said something I ain't like in front of a bunch of people, I would probably be out on bail right now, awaiting my arraignment.
Awaiting trial. I'm on a box because I'm like, I slapped that nigga.
If I'm worth $500 million and I slap a peer, it ain't the same.
It ain't the same.
MK silly ass on TV talking about if I was Chris Rock, I'd sue him for $200 million. Like, what's $200 million? Will Smith been like, take this.
Like, I got you. Keep the change.
Right.
Keep the change.
Legal fees. You know what I'm saying? And you can forget about getting half the roles in Hollywood because Will Smith a big producer. If people ain't know,
right?
Like, that's the other thing. Like, you can go and get on this band for real if you want to. But I'm just like, if you gonna slap somebody, that's the way to do it. Like, it's gonna be minimal consequences. At the worst, it's gonna be like a half cancel culture. Some of us out here, like, we ain't canceling. I don't care.
So, do you think he will be invited next year?
No,
I don't think so.
Do you think he'll ever be nominated in the foreseeable?
Nominated?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nominated, yeah. Invited?
Yes. Win?
I mean, I don't think
probably next year if he gets another like King Richard kind of role, maybe. but he may be nominated, but he won't be physically at the awards anymore. At least for a year. At least for a year.
I actually think that the Academy really understands the tenuous situation that it's in right now. And I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to try and play tough mom so this whole thing fizzles out. Because
but they had to, because we've not had a physical altercation on this stage. You know what I'm saying? We've had, Kanye, be like, yeah, I'm gonna let you finish. You know what I'm saying? We've had Ricky Gervais like roast an entire room of people and everybody is just looking crazy. We've had all these little things, but like you said, they're gonna have to play tough mind. They're gonna have to no. And of course, because he's black, of course they're gonna put a little bit 100 on 10. And
I'm gonna be watching that one closely. And I would challenge I was actually trying to look today to find out if there's ever been a situation or altercation like that at the
Yes, it was. To be fair, yes, it was.
I knew there was. I knew that couldn't.
I forgot. Her last name is Greenfeather, and John Wayne tried to assault her at the awards. Like she was making she was making a political statement about the disparity of Native American, actors and actresses, in the Academy, the roles that were not given, the satirical roles or the stereotypical roles. It's on YouTube. I gotta remember. I gotta look it up and I'll post that later. But yeah, but it wasn't like a visual where John Wayne was actually trying to attack her. It was just reported, so it's not on camera.
Yeah, and I was really thinking during his speech. I have such a deep-founded respect for actors and actresses. They make it look easy. Acting. But people prepare for their roles, and a big part of his role was being a protector and a provider in that movie. Because even looking at Power, Omari said I had to quit because I was starting to act like Ghost. Like I was so engrossed in my role that it was spilling over into my daily. So I had to detach myself. So with a lot of these actors and actresses, sometimes there are residual after effects of acting in these roles, and maybe he had a little bit of King Richard in him that set him off. Like I gotta protect, and maybe that's something that stuck with him from that role.
It takes a toll.
It does
take a toll. I mean, if anything, we saw how it affected Heath Ledger, during The Dark Knight, like him diving so deep into the Joker role, like that was detrimental to him. Like he was about to really change the whole Batman franchise, the reboot, like he was about to change it. But like you said, Will made a over emotional overreaction, and he recognized what he did immediately after. His protection of his wife was paramount at that moment, and I applaud him for that. But
was his apology genuine though?
I don't know. That shit was whack, man. Like
you talking about the one he did at the stage, or the
one
he did on? You talking about the one he did on stage, or the one he did on IG to Chris Rock?
I would say both.
I think the one on stage was genuine, because you can feel a lot of emotion behind that. Like he truly regretted what happened. I think the one to Chris Rock via Instagram was more prep and written out for him by like PR or someone, where he really had to sit down and just he wrote a apology for him. I still think
PR. It was definitely PR.
Yeah, it was PR.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, Latoya. Did you read that comment, Charles? I'm sorry.
So Latoya said he mentioned this in his book. that he's had roles where he could not come out of character to the point it affected the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's
and I get that. Like I really do get that. Life imitates art, imitates life. I mean, it's on the MGM brand. like that's what those that's what the Latin words mean. So yeah.
What do you think his like punishment? What do you think like his penance should be?
He's gonna get fined. I think the Academy is going to fine him. Definitely. No. We already know he's not gonna get his Oscar taken.
Okay.
But I think they may fine him. That, I mean, that for somebody like Will Smith, you know, fine him probably will be me giving you $1. But
right. He's like, do you want cash or like should I cash
you want Bitcoin?
You? What do you want? How you want it?
Like which one of these cars you want? Just take. I don't care.
I don't think it's going to go any deeper than him being fined and probably not invited for the foreseeable future. I ain't gonna put a time on it, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be detrimental to his character at all. Like,
nah. This is funny? His only blemish, you know, like.
Because I mean, I'm quite sure everybody here still watch Bel-Air today for the season premiere.
Listen,
so I did see it, so don't. But so yeah, I don't think nothing's gonna really stop the Will Smith train.
No, they ain't stopping this gravy train at all. They ain't stopping.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think he set a dangerous precedent, or is it more like, do people need to be more aggressive when it comes to the disrespect of their spouses?
It's both ways. It could go like, because now you don't know what to say or what to do around. Like he said like, well, for Will himself, he put himself in a place like you don't want to walk on eggshells around him now. Like you just hauled off and cracked Chris Rock on national TV. Like, I'm scared to now either sneeze, burp, or fart around you because where's your temperament at now? Like, granted, it wasn't an emotional response directly towards his wife, but now you can't, like, who's to say I walked past Will Smith like, yeah, I hated Jada and made it menace to society, and people elbow me, like, but I mean, he said it like for himself. I think he set a pretty dangerous precedent for himself. Like now, people gonna have to walk on eggshells around him. Like, and I don't think that's his character to have people that uncomfortable around him. But now your actions dictate what people's gonna see you as now. So
I think it'll blow over.
I mean, it will. I think that for the rest, like, honestly, by 4th of July, ain't nobody gonna talk about this one. Maybe Father's Day.
I agree. Now, Charles, were you asking in reference to Will Smith himself or to like comedians in general? And like
comedians, everyday people, especially comedians, because right now that's I know they are definitely feeling something, because it's already been a push to limit and censor comedians, which I think is the last standing bastion of free speech in society. Mm-hmm. We look to our comedians to make light of dark situations. Right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those situations come at the expense of other people. But it's the delivery and the timing. I mean, look at what they tried to do to Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. Like, the man told brilliant, educated, and well-timed stories that were comedic, because they weren't all jokes, but they were comedic stories. And even the person that he was talking about laughed her ass off about it. And then everybody's all up in arms. It's just like, well, you should be able to make jokes and not say anything bad about anyone. How is that going to be comedy? we're all gonna be laughing like, we're all gonna be wearing like gray, and someone's gonna be like, "You're wearing a different shade of gray than I'm wearing." That's hilarious. I think a little bit of comedy died.
God, no, I hope not.
I think a little bit of comedy died the night that Will slapped Chris. I ain't gonna lie. To me,
Really?
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It may not be. It may not be. See, I'm thinking. I'm not thinking about just just right now. I'm thinking about like a few years from now. Even hell, it could be
because I'm
month.
like, hell,
Somebody
somebody
can do a set. I mean, if you go to any comedy show, you sitting up front, what's gonna happen? If the comedian see you, you catching it. Now they can't even probably do that because somebody run up. It's like, yo, what the fuck you talking to?
I don't think any real comic is going to be worried about that. I don't. I feel like this is a one-off situation.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this. First of all, let's be clear. First of all, like Will Smith is not the first person that's gonna come out the front row and attack the comic for something that they done said.
Right.
It's just the stage, right? He did it on a stage that was like worldwide. Like that's what made it special. But like again, like I said earlier, like people getting slapped or like altercations happening because of things. These are things that happen every day. And for comics, I think if you talk to if you guys brought some comics on to talk about their experiences, they probably have experiences of like near encounters or altercations because
it's a risky job.
Like that's the risk you take.
Yeah.
I don't think that this even going to change anything about Chris Rock's performance. I wouldn't be surprised if in like a month, Chris Rock hit tour with a whole spiel on Will and Jada that'll have us dying laughing.
Yeah.
Like I would.
He went on stage last night.
He's going to take that situation and he's going to do what he does with life situations.
True comedians.
I don't think that this is something I don't think this is something that's going to. I don't think that this. No, the answer to your question is no. I don't think this is something that's going to damage comedy or create some type of pattern that now we got to watch out for.
Yeah. Netflix special soon come.
We'll see. I'm praying that it doesn't. I pray that it doesn't. But we live in a world where people are they admire and they worship these celebrities. Look at the people who have made the same kind of death threats to Pete Davidson for dating Kim Kardashian now. Hey, what's up? My man Maximilian in the building. My man.
He's the first, fun fact, all jokes aside, he is the first baby to appear on the Dating University page. We have you on when you were a newborn. Now look at you. Hi.
You too. What's up, Max? Right on.
Looking like your daddy. Looking just like your dad.
Right on. But yeah. So here's a question. I mean, and we touched on it earlier. We all know that there's not just one way to protect Black women, and we're coming up against our time. So I want to get this question out. For those people who are on the fence of how, what would your advice be to to help deal with someone who is on the fence of how to approach a situation like this?
It's a good one.
Brett?
I mean,
anything? Anybody?
I would say
you're asking how I will protect Black women.
I would say trust yourself. Trust yourself. Like if you know yourself, you know what you can handle and you know what you can't handle. And if you trust yourself, feel Will got to apologize for what he did, right? And he probably I think from everything I know and have seen about Will Smith, I think that he honestly truly regrets doing what he did. That don't necessarily make him wrong. I mean, I think that's usually though, when you know yourself and you know who you are, usually your first response is usually the correct one. And not always, that's not exclusive, but more often than not, your first reaction to something is usually the true honest one. And I think if you know yourself and you know who you are and you're honest with yourself about what it is that you can take and what you can accept, I think that you then make the you make the commitment to protect Black people or Black women in this situation, and you roll with the situation as it comes to you.
Well said.
Look, I love it. Protect me by any means necessary.
I always told my wife.
So it means like, so you know, you would want your husband to
by
just
any
smack
means necessary,
anybody at any time.
By any means necessary. Take it how you want to.
Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm okay.
I told my wife, I when it comes to her and my children, I will smile in my mugshot.
Yeah.
By any means necessary.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to them, I will
love it.
I will gladly smile. I told my daughter that the other day, and she looked at me like I was 10-carat crazy. And when it comes to them, I am 10-carat crazy. Like I will gladly.
I mean, you have to, like, a man has to have his code, and a man has to have his protection mode ready to rock and roll for his family at any time. Like, you know, they look to you. They look to us to be the protector. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of men have kind of gotten away from that idea of like being a protector. You know what I'm saying? Like that comes with the territory. So we have to be ready to put it all on the line.
Yeah, I learned that from my dad.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, my dad was in the funniest thing. My dad was in a wheelchair. You know, he had a stroke. One of my friends jokingly said something out of line to my mom. My dad said, "Don't make me get out of this wheelchair and break you in half." My dad was an 80-year-old man in a wheelchair, and the guy was.
He don't play about his baby.
He was 6'3", 2 something, and he's like, "I've never been more scared before in my life." But again, it's just coming to like by any means necessary. Like, like in a wheelchair with an oxygen mask, told this guy, "I will get up and break you in half."
Ooh, see, that's great. Here's a good question. Are y'all protecting all Black women or just the ones in your life? I think we protect all. We know, CC. There is just I think there is a small pocket of people who have allowed Black women to be disrespected in certain situations. But I think overall, a lot of Black men are not going to stand by and allow another Black woman to be disrespected in spaces. I can't speak for every man on the planet. I can't. I can only speak for Charles right here, right now. Like, I'm not going to allow someone to be harmed or disrespected and me not step in. I'm just standing by. If I start pulling out my phone and recording the situation, like, what kind of bull crap is that? Like, there's no daggone way.
Say that in the camera, Charles. Tell them.
Also, the woman must want to be protected. A woman must also. Sometimes you find women that don't want to be protected. Like the situation that they're in, they're comfortable with their situation. Like you could be somewhere where a woman and her significant other, someone could be in an altercation, and me being the kind of person I am, I'm gonna come say something to you, and the woman, I've seen it where the woman jumps on the quote protector, was like, "Hey, you know, I'm fine, doesn't do." So, I mean, granted, yes, I would love to be, lack of a better word, super saver hole, but you can't be that with every woman because every woman don't want that. They don't want that.
And that's facts. That's situational. That is situational awareness. You have to be aware of what your situation. I remember back in high school, I pulled that same shit. And I got into a fight because of it.
Me too.
I got into a fight. I saw this one dude literally jacking one of my classmates up. And I was like, oh hell no. You got me fucked up. You're not gonna do it in my presence. I rolled up on him.
Yeah.
And it turned into a whole thing because what happened later, it was at the end of the day. And I don't know if he's still around, but if I see you in the street, it's still on. Because you already know I whipped your ass twice. So if I still see you in the street again, it's still on.
Yeah.
So he snuck me at the end of the day at the end of the school. And you know what I mean, he snuck me and we got into a fight. And then I had, a couple days later, had to fight again. Then I saw him again and I fought him again because I was like, nah, that's that bullshit. But yeah, come to find out.
In the life of Northern.
Come to find Vikings forever, baby. Come to find out, she was enjoying it. So I stuck my nose in a business that I ain't had no fucking business being in. So when it comes to protecting black women, yes, I absolutely will, but I will be situational aware of when and how I do it.
Yeah, no, Brian.
Take it how you feel. I really don't care. But for me in my house, the women in my house, yeah, ride or die. Everybody else, situational.
You have some men that protect black women, and it comes with ulterior motives and hidden intentions. So for example, I had a man, I'm at the gas station, he called himself protecting me, and then thought that in him being a Superman, that he should buy some protection because he thought I was giving him some. No, sir. Thanks for the support, but this is where I get off. God bless you. So it's situational. It is what it is. But
I mean,
protect me at all costs.
There are people who feel like, again, movies have given us this fairy tale idea of like how to meet people and how to like it's automatically, you're gonna fall in love with this person because you quote unquote came to their rescue. Like sometimes it's just you get a thank you.
Yeah. And a thank you is sufficient. Now I'm always, ladies, one of my biggest pet peeves is not acknowledging a man's effort to be kind to you. Like
y'all better acknowledge that
holding
shit.
The door thing, like it could be man or woman, but just say thank you. So, in situations like that where I do see a man putting himself out there for my safety, I always am courteous to say thank you because they don't have to. It was a choice. And so just be aware of that. Be mindful.
Latoya said mental protection is just as important. There's so much negativity I've seen on the internet about black women from black men that it's frightening. Those that support Kevin Samuels or share posts that degrade women show a form of non-support. That is a tricky thing because Kevin Samuels, while he says some wild shit, he is basically giving us the castor oil that we all need. He's not giving it to us in some syrupy, sweet goodness. And he's speaking his platform again when it first started. It was speaking to men need to step their own shit up. That's what got his attention. The negative attention came to him when he started asking women for the same accountability, and it was a problem.
Oh, I'm glad you broke that down because I don't follow him and I don't really pay that.
Yeah,
he's a wild cat. He says some stuff. He says some stuff.
It's always been these conflicting kind of like stories from different people, like, and it's weird. Sometimes you see women being like, oh, I can't stand him, and then sometimes I see women like, oh, I love Kevin Samuels. Then the same thing with the guys. Like some of the guys is just like,
yeah, I just don't.
Now there are some beta males.
I don't follow
I ain't gonna lie. There are a lot of beta males that follow him, and they are taking the meat and the bone. and they're making themselves seem like they are the prize when they're not even in the goddamn running to be nowhere near the prize. You're not protecting Black women. You're not even taking care of yourself. You're not financially stable. You're not mentally stable enough to be in a relationship. You're not emotionally intelligent enough to understand. You take the word submission and you turn it into something disgusting and ugly. And then you want women to be the subservient, geishas, when women are complex. Go ahead, George. Go ahead, George. What you say?
The need for a submissive woman. I just feel like I feel like it's rooted in slavery. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't take it anymore.
I know people keep trying to act like, it comes from Africa, and it's like, but I know ancient African cultures, and men and women work in tandem like this. This submission shit.
Put the spotlight on George.
It really be giving master vibes, and I need people to start realizing that, because that is not healthy. Like, you should not want, like, you basically saying you want your woman like you want a child. You want her to say yes and no that's weird. Yo, we should talk about that like at another show. That's weird, yo.
That would be a great man show.
And
I had to walk away from that.
George, that would be a great man show. You know, we haven't done our man show or our woman show this year.
I don't need nobody to submit to me. I ain't got my shit all the way together. I needed a partner. That's right. What I found. I found a partner. Like, the hell, like this submissive shit. Like,
help me.
We need a man show on this, because there's some men, George, that think the opposite.
Talk about it.
They crave submission. Like, they throw that S word around more than sex. More than sex sometimes.
And it's
my women submissive.
Like, you never hear it coming from, you always hear it coming from the same kind of, like, where you work, bro? Then I'd be like,
you know what?
Nigga, you were.
Good night, everybody. I'm
not even gonna say no. I'm not.
You can have my spot.
I was getting ready to come on here.
I'm out.
I was getting ready to come out here, and I was really about to give out some refreshing.
Save it though. You gotta save it, because it's getting late. And I know y'all want to wrap up soon, but that's something we really need to talk about. Like, I would love to hear the Dating University fellas get together, and I would love to hear that conversation, because that's
Man Cave 2
shit
this summer. No, Man Cave 3. God, we did 2, right? Man Cave 3, y'all. Coming.
Yo, Brittany really dipped.
You ready?
She's like,
oh yeah, she's gone. No, she's gone.
No,
yeah, she's
George can take my spot. I'm done.
Someone is
nothing else to say.
So now's the time. I want to give everybody. I want to give our guests the opportunities, because at the end of our show, we thank y'all so much for taking y'all time out of y'all busy schedules and y'all family to come on and share y'all thoughts and share your opinions and share your wisdom. We love y'all so very much. So at this time, we give all of our guests the red carpet treatment. We want to give you the highlight, give you the spotlight, and tell the world how to find you. What are you up to? What projects you got going on? And I'm gonna start with newly minted Professor Brian J.
You can find me on Instagram, Mr. Johnston with the 5 instead of S on IG. Also look out for my podcast. I got 2 out there right now. I got In the Basement with B, where we discuss all things pop culture. I'm doing every other Friday. It's on Instagram and on Facebook, In the Basement with B. Also, me and my wife, we have a podcast, The Married Life Podcast, where we discuss the ins and outs, the ups and downs of marriage. It's every other Sunday at 7:30 on Facebook. Come check us out. Our next episode is this Sunday, where we continuing our vow series. This one we talking about to have and to hold. What do those words mean to you? What do those words mean to our marriage? So we will be discussing that on this week's podcast. So feel free to check us out. It's The Married Life, life with a Y instead of an I, The Married Life Podcast. If you want a Married Life t-shirt, shout out to Shawnee's Secret Design. She could get that done for you. So yeah, that's what we got coming this week. Yeah.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Thank you so much, Professor George.
Hey,
out returning. He is like the dean of I don't know. George been on Professor George has been on Dating University so many times, man.
I think he's been on the most. I think he's our most.
It's been a while though.
It's been a while. It's been a while. This last appearance was when we had another conversation in July 3rd, 2020, when we talked about the protection of Black women yet again. So go ahead, George. Tell the world what you got going on.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Professor G. George, I ain't really got too much going on right now, man. I'm living life. You know, kicking it with the kids and all that stuff. Doing good work in the community. Yeah. I do have a podcast that's on hiatus right now. Considering bringing it back. Binge-worthy podcast.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Black perspectives on thing that has to do with film, television, theater. It's a great show with me and my wonderful host, co-host Nate Kauser. We are in the process of potentially coming back for a season 3, working out the details on that now. So I'll definitely let y'all know so y'all can connect the folks.
Definitely.
Dating University, love to be here. Thank you for having me again, and hope to see y'all again soon.
Absolutely. Please bring that podcast back.
Love it.
Y'all know I got some big things in the works, and I am, I'm excited about this new birth that I got going on. Man, I'm bringing something so needed, and and it's so crazy because I've connected with some great people who are in the same space. But like anything in this world, there is more than enough space for all of us to get money, to get paid, to get recognized, and to control the narrative of us. So yes, please bring back your podcast. Need those. Brian, I love what you and Shauna are doing. I love what y'all doing, man. I try to catch y'all as much as I can.
Appreciate it.
Yes. To our podcast listeners, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
We hope that you gained some sort of insight from our shows. We hope you laughed. We hope that you shared our little podcast. We love that.
There's nothing little about our podcast.
I love seeing the double digits of how many listeners have listened to our show. To our Facebook crew, we love y'all so much. Y'all keep the conversation going. Like, we love y'all comments. Even our new ones. Hey, Latoya, you are new here. Hey, welcome to the class. Yes. You gave some great comments tonight. We really
great comments.
Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Didi. Shout out to Darius. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to who was it? Daquan. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Paul. Shout out
Lita.
Everybody.
Lita.
My baby girl, my baby sister. Yes, we love y'all so much.
Love you all so much.
So
we have big things to work.
Buy the merch. Buy the merch.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.